It's a good practice. As you guys know, it was a little bit shorter. We're down a little bit in numbers along the offensive and defensive line. We have no practice tomorrow, so hopefully we get some of those guys back. Sometimes at this point in camp, you get in a situation where you start to lose skill guys with hamstrings and things like that. And knock on wood, that hasn't happened. But some of our big guys have gone down, a couple because of concussions or getting knocked around a little bit, and then the heat to a certain extent as well. So I really think tomorrow will be a really good recovery day for us. After 7, I believe really good practice. I like the direction we're headed, and it's been fun to be around these guys up in this environment. It's everything that we expected. Besides the good work on the field, I think the guys have really enjoyed being around each other, and I think they'll have fun tomorrow. We have a couple team activities planned for them, and should be fun. Should be a fun day. Kind of just get away from football a little bit. We'll still have a meeting or two to watch this practice, and then install for it's tomorrow Friday for Saturday. But it should be a good day for them to recover a little bit. They need it. So.
Who has concussions?
Okay, well, Patrick does.
Right.
We're a little bit concerned about Jeff Baca, and we're a little bit concerned about Alberto Sid. So those guys are going to go back down to UCLA tomorrow, where UCLA is conducting a study on head trauma, and we're going to put them through some tests and just make sure. Not Larry, because we know what his is, but Jeff and Alberto. Yeah, so they'll go down that way. And then really it's just those three. I really think that on Saturday, we'll get most of those guys back. The ones that I'm a little bit hesitant to say are Patrick and maybe Jeff. Those are the two that seem to be the more serious of the guys with the head or the heat. Most of those other guys I think should be back, most of them.
What's the challenge for evaluation when you are down to 8 offensive linemen?
We like to practice at a fast tempo, so it obviously affects that tempo. You see technique breakdowns by those guys because they're just worn out. And so I think you just have to look at it in the right context. That a lot of these guys are very young guys. They're pushing through it. I have to say, though, I've been impressed with the way that they fought. I guess probably what you're maybe asking me is it harder to evaluate the quarterbacks when there's not as much protection? And the answer would be yes. But I think that those guys have done a pretty good job up front. And there's really so many ways, as we've talked about this week, that we're evaluating the quarterback. And part of it is how do they handle the pocket when everything breaks down, and they're getting some work at that. So.
We were talking about running backs. We've already evaluated.
Yeah, I know what you were talking about. Yeah. So, anyway.
What about rotation when you don't even have a full backup set?
Well, it's like a puzzle. Coach Clem's back there, and he's moving guys around and in and out. And hopefully, this is the last day we have to do it. Because it's not fun. It's tough on those guys, and it's not an ideal situation. You kind of hope the worst of it's over. We can push through now, get guys back, and get on a roll up there. One thing I've been impressed with our offensive line is that after the first couple of days of practice, their level of the way they competed, I thought picked up a lot. So I've been happy with that.
Can you explain what happened to Oliver and Teacher while they're not out here?
Yeah, I can. Both of them in the lunchroom, just dehydrated and just lethargic. And you just said, like I told you guys, the things that I don't think that you should ever mess with at any level of football is head injuries and heat illness. And those things can be deadly. And so I just feel like we have to be really, really careful. And if it's close, then we're gonna hold them out. Get somebody else to work. So.
What's Joe Faria's status right now?
Joe's working back in. He's come out here the last couple of days and tried to fight through the hip, and he gets through some things, and then it tightens up on him. So we just put him over on the bike, and he's another guy that I hope on Saturday is ready to go, close to 100%. Like I've told these guys, you're never going to be at 100% again the rest of the season. Once you start hitting, you just don't play at 100%. So it's a matter of managing the pain a little bit and knowing what's an injury and what's just pain and fighting through it. And these guys are still young guys, and they're still learning how to fight through things. And I think Joe will be back and ready to go on Saturday, though.
When you said there was going to be no live scrimmage, was that pertaining to San Bernardino or even when you go back to Westwood?
No, we could potentially have something up here next week. I haven't scheduled anything. I play it by ear. Like today, we went live on the goal line, and we went live a lot in spring. And like in spring, we did the Oklahoma drills, and we did a lot of live tackling, and I learned a lot about our team in that time. And I think we'll have some live periods here, but we're less than. Is today Thursday? We're 3 weeks away right now from our first game, and so I think what's really important is that we go into the season as healthy as we can possibly be. So it's just always the rub in coaching is how much is too much and what's not enough with regards to contact.
Can I ask where that breeze has been the last 5 days?
I know. Well, we're out here a little later. It's 10 after 7. So.
You kind of taken it back that you were sort of the eye of the storm here for a little bit, having to apologize for.
I've already addressed all that, so I've moved on from that. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.